It seems to me, Colin, the policy-making establishment just caught up.
I think they're out of tune of what's going on in the world. We can produce a lot of the food that's being produced in Ukraine in the UK. We have government policies that are making us plant wildflower meadows. We're whipping up wheat crops that could produce wheat, which would reduce the price of wheat. In Germany, they have cancelled their green farming policies and put 1 million hectares back into production. Why aren't we doing this in the UK? Also, we used to be self-sufficient in cooking oils, but we had the chemicals we used to grow those crops banned by this government of all parties because of poor science. On our own farm, we used to grow 500 tonnes a year of cooking oil. We have produced nothing for the last 3 years. Also, 50% of my crop production now goes for food energy, for energy crops, where we sell food to make gas and electricity. If the government changes its policies, the British farmers could meet the shortages lost by Ukraine's not being able to export. But we need the government and all parties to ditch these net zero and green policies that they seem to be following in a world crisis. The English farmer, the British farmers, we can produce the food that this country needs, but we are hindered by these green policies.
Bill, let's turn to you. You're farming in a different part of the country. You're producing cheese. Very nice it is too. I've tasted some of it myself. You've appeared here in the On the Money studio. Great to have you back with us. It's not just crops that are getting more expensive, is it? With farmers needing to raise finance, with farmers needing to use fuel, with farmers needing to use fertiliser, the cost of which has all gone up. It's also dairy as well, the cost of feedstock for cattle, the cost of milk, the cost of the fuel that you need in your cheese-making processes. What did you think when you saw the headlines this morning that the Governor of the Bank of England was forecasting a food price apocalypse?
I think, Liam, the first thing is I think we were facing steep increases coming out towards the back end of last year, where we were thinking our increases of around 20% is what we were envisaging at that point in time. So in December, that's what we were planning for. And then really, as we got early into the new year, we almost ripped things up and said, well, actually, take those increases, and I've got a cost base of about £50 million, where there's been about £20 million of additional cost through inflation coming through. And it's a mixture of things. We see our farmers are having effectively a crisis on farm when you look at the way that they're seeing rising costs. Cost of nitrates and fertilizers have gone up, cost of feed pricing gone up, causing massive issues. So whilst the milk price has gone up from probably towards, going over just over a year ago, 28 pence, it's now up to about 40 pence a litre. We're forecasting that by the back end of the summer and into the back end of the year, that milk pricing will have to be north of 45 pence a litre if our farmers are to survive and we are to keep up production. So you've got this massive effect of somewhere around 40% inflation that we're envisaging this year, which is something I've worked in this industry for 30 years. I've never experienced anything like this. So when we say this is unprecedented, I think it's no understatement. So if you take the cost on farm going up, and then I think a lot of that is related back to energy and what's going on there, we're also seeing a position where our energy prices have almost quadrupled as well. And without government intervention in some way, I can't see how we change the dynamic of what's going to happen to costs on shelf. And I think it is when you say there's a crisis in place. I don't think it's an understatement for the average consumer, because I don't think it's really coming through on shelf at this point in time. We've seen some of those price increases that have been working in partnership with our retail partners and our other customers. And they've been acting really responsibly, trying to work with us in partnership. But what we've also been signposting is that this cost has come now, but there's going to be more to come later in the year. And we need them to continue to work with us in partnership, because otherwise, a small business like us, we go out of business, and also we create a massive issue in providing a sustainable home for a farmer's milk. So I think this is real. We're in a critical position, and I think we've all got to be really cognizant of the pressure that's coming back into farm.